title of the session is about marketing KPIs, actually, but just recently I had this more interactive session a couple of days ago with some early stage startups, and based on that learning I made, I would rather dedicate a bigger part for KPI setting in general, because it's quite important, especially for early stage startups. And then we'll talk about marketing specific KPIs at the end of the session. So just a couple of things about myself, so you know who you are listening to. My name is Rita Katona. I'm originally from Hungary, now living in Berlin. And I've been in the startup scene for almost 10 years and got involved in various startup projects as founder, marketer, and freelancer, but mostly focusing on marketing related roles and tasks. I've been mentoring startups for more than 4 years in different programs, mostly across Europe. Like I joined Techstars Berlin and Russia last year. Startup Wise guys from the Baltics, you might know them. And another program from Switzerland. And overall, that's been quite a long journey already, with more than 200 startups coached. That normally means like not only one session, but on average like 2-3 sessions per startup at least, to make sure that they make some progress. And my day job is also startup related, of course. I'm acting as growth specialist at one of the fastest growing startup incubators in Germany called ZOLLHOF. And yeah, we also have a couple of startups in our portfolio. We just started like 2.5 years ago, and have more than 50 startups in our portfolio, which I also work with. So our topic for today is KPIs in general, as I said. So what is a KPI actually? Around it, there are a lot of different definitions, like one is more fancy than the other one, but the most important thing is the term stays for key performance indicators, and they are critical indicators of progress toward an intended result. And what is very important on that those are normally metrics, so numbers. So they provide an analytical basis for decision making and help focus attention on what matters most. It's going to be an important part of this session today. And why is it important? Because what gets measured gets done, or it doesn't get done, but at least we know that about the development of the business. So why KPI tracking? Feedback mechanism. Yeah, normally if we pick the right set of KPIs, or even just one, which is very important for our business, then we should be able to see, okay, the company is doing good, just okay, or bad. So normally, if the typical hockey stick story, if numbers are growing and go up, then we are probably doing good. If they go down, then we are probably doing bad. So, and latest, when you start talking to potential investors or potential partners for your startup, they will ask about black and white numbers, and will ask about your progress and where you stand. So latest that stage, you should have figured out about your KPIs and actual numbers you can communicate. Motivational aspect is also very important. So there is nothing more motivating for business owners to see zeros every day for next to their most important KPIs, which should tell them about growth and about the stage of their company. So I'm gonna talk about the primary and secondary KPI methodology that many incubators and accelerators use, and also I took some content from Y Incubator, which is one of the best-known incubators in the Silicon Valley. They have Airbnb, Stripe, Reddit, and various other well-known companies and startups in their portfolio. And they actually implemented this methodology a couple of years ago, I think from right from the start, and it's been working for them. So I also think that this is just enough for the beginning of a startup to pick two different sets of KPIs or two different categories. Like one is the King KPI, or you might have heard the term North Star KPI, or primary metric, primary KPI, which is there just to tell you about your growth and about the stage of your company. And it's actually ideal to choose just one of them. Also, there is only one by definition. Over all others, to keep things simple, especially a very sources to get 90% of the job done with much less effort, rather than building reports with 220 KPIs, and at some point no one really understands what is more important and what is less important. So here the job that needs to be done is just a quick feeling about the state of the company. And then once you pick this KPI, you can build up a strategy around it and optimize for its development, and also monitor it on a daily basis. So the question before we deep dive is what is the main driver of growth for your startup, and how can you measure and align your business goals around that? So simply said, what is the KPI, what is the metric you would bet your company on if you had to? So about your primary KPI, it should represent delivery of real value, like money or time. Most of the times, if you have some sort of revenue or the recurring revenue, which is even better, then it's the best KPI to use. Also, when you see that coming, so it's the best motivational factor to set that one, and then also you can see the growth of the company. If you have some specific business models I will talk about later, then you can also just see about time. So for example, a KPI like daily active user or weekly active user can be a good one as well, if it still takes time to start making revenue. It captures value. So, for example, most SaaS tools use MRR, so monthly recurring revenue. So if they already have, I don't know, 10 paying customers, then and they keep using their tools and they pay for that monthly, then they will have a number on monthly recurring revenue. If you have a different sort of business model, like a digital newspaper, for example, you might need more time to build up your audience, to generate content, and then get people on the side. So then, at some point, you can start or advertising model. So in that case, picking daily active users could be a good one. Very important, and I see that very often with startups, is the definition of user. So it's actually quite best practice in an early stage to have a Google Sheet or to have even a piece of paper and define all those KPIs people look at. Because there is nothing more misleading and harmful for the company than one metric means something else for marketing and sales, for example. So yeah, once you use the metric about users, you have to also define user properly. So most probably in this case, user should not be considered active if he just comes to the website and stays for 1 second and bounces right away. So yeah, those kind of things. It should be a lagging indicator for success. So a typical trap founders fall into is picking easy growing metrics like number of email signups. You can push it even with some cheap paid marketing campaigns, and so you can push the numbers up. But at the end of the day, it's not directly related to revenue making, and also can be very misleading. So try to pick a KPI which is closest to revenue or revenue. Usable feedback mechanism. Also, in the early that founders monthly numbers, and normally, especially if you in an acceleration program or an incubation program, you should be growing week by week. So that's why we recommend to look at the weekly numbers and less at the monthly numbers at the beginning. There are some other common mistakes to avoid. Typical thing is what I hear from founders. Okay, I have those 1,000 users, for example, not paying me anything. But it's fine. I just want them to provide feedback. That's okay. That's already an achievement that you have 1,000 people there. But I would strongly recommend to start making revenue or to start charging those people, even if it's just some little amount of money, because also when it comes to providing feedback, people who pay for something are more serious about feedbacking, more serious about the product itself, and might need it more than just the ones that wanted to get something for free. Another mistake can be picking revenue as primary KPI with an advertising-based business model. That's what I already referred to with the newspaper. So if you have a business model which requires a big pool of users, or even like marketplace for both sides, where you need like many people to be able to buy you, then it's that recommended to pick revenue. Yeah, marketplaces. sometimes they tend to focus on just one side. Yeah, good examples are Airbnb or Uber. That Airbnb did not focus on just the host side, or just on the other side, people looking for bread and breakfast back in the time, but their king KPI was the number of nights booked. Uber, same thing, weekly trips, and nothing about the drivers or the riders. So how do you set your goals? Startups should focus on growth. So the king KPI should tell you about it. Set weekly growth goal and define it with real numbers. It's very crucial in early stage. So not saying, okay, we are going to grow 10%, but you also define, okay, that 10% means $250 more in revenue. Keep your primary KPIs visible to motivate you every day. A very typical example is gluing it to the wall. That's what Airbnb founders did at the early stage. They put their numbers, number of booked nights everywhere, so it was motivating the team. When looking at KPIs, don't compare KPIs of different time frames. For example, monthly growth to weekly growth, because it might be misleading. Don't ignore historical data, and don't set unspecific goals. So we are going to grow a little bit. It's not really a specific goal. You have to define it in percentage and with real numbers. Here is statistics from Combinator based on data with more than 100 startups. So the weekly growth is usually between 5 and 10%. 10% is considered very good. And then the monthly and yearly numbers based on that. Secondary KPIs. So those are other 3 to 5 KPIs, I would say, you would pick, which are also very important, but a little bit less important than your primary KPI. And pick them just to get a 360-degree view of the business. For example, user growth is fine to look at, but you also have to look at retention rate, for example, when you are an online restaurant business. Yeah, don't pick too many numbers, and don't build huge reports, because it's just the waste of time in the early stage. So there are some KPIs that are the most typical ones for startups. Obviously, it pretty much depends on your business model. Monthly recurring revenue is very good for SaaS startups, I mentioned before. So yeah, that's the amount of revenue you make that recurs monthly. Gross profit, like for businesses with physical products or for example, restaurants, total revenue minus the cost of goods sold. Lifetime value is a tricky one. Many investors asked for it, but especially at the early stage, without historical data, it's super hard to get any benchmark data on that. So it would be based on many productions and hypotheses. So normally, I would say at the early stage you should avoid that. And don't waste time with calculation of an expected lifetime value. CCR, customer concentration risk, was enterprise business. It's important one. Revenue from largest customer divided total revenue. So obviously, if you have like one big customer, then one else, then you are completely dependent on them, and that's not so good. Daily active users, monthly active users, depending on the stage you are right now. Number of users taking a specific action to get value out of a product. Activation rate, again, you have a lot of leads, like high quality leads, and you want to convert them to purchase something in your online shop, then it's a lead to order activation rate. Month-on-month growth, we know about that. Monthly churn rate, lost customers this month, divided per year month in total. Direct traffic, organic traffic, paid traffic, we probably know about that. So, and the most important marketing metrics, customer acquisition cost or new customer acquisition cost, they say about how much it costs on average to acquire a customer. You have to aim for break even anytime. Like there is not really a golden number about that, but you have to try to build a healthy business, so come on break even with after acquiring the first customers. Potential reach, like are we reaching enough customers? So you can look at website visits or social media interactions, impressions on social media. Customer retention rate or retention by cohort, like how good are we at keeping customers? A good rate is the retention rate, like percentage of original base, like the first month of the customer with us, and that are still transacting after XYZ month. Conversion rate or conversion rates is our marketing strategy leading to sales, like visit to purchase, email lead to app download, and these kind of rates. So those are the 4 most important marketing metrics, I would say, for early stage startups that can make it on the list of the secondary KPIs. And yeah, I would say there are many other marketing numbers, but you should just concentrate on these ones at the beginning of your journey. So yeah, that would be now the time to talk about your numbers. I will try to switch back to the chat. I don't see any questions. So you guys, if you have questions, please type it in the chat now. Yeah, I can share the presentation for sure. You can also find me on LinkedIn and or here in the app later, and I'm happy to send it over. For CAC, yes, would be just very pragmatic at the beginning of building a startup. Like I would take the spend on marketing and then see and divide it from by the amount of new customers or customers that were active in that month or week. Yeah, I mean, for LTV, it's you will find different formulas. I would also pick one of the most pragmatic and easy ones, like the expected time in years or in months, like depending on your business model with the company per user, and then see how much on average a user is bringing in per week or per month, and then just see the number of that. ROI on paid campaign tech service startup. Yeah, there is here a good formula for LTV. Thanks, Mohit. ROI on paid campaigns. So also, I had an experience with very early stage startup, and we had to push our Facebook paid campaigns like crazy. And so what we did, we got we took the number, like the average ROI or the average revenue, like one customer brings in to the company, and then that's the money, like that's the amount of money we make with one customer on a business level, like the company level, and then that's the maximum amount of money we can spend on a Facebook lead, and then we put it. First, we built some test campaigns, and then we saw about the conversion rates. Okay, like first, like how much money do we need to generate 1,000 impressions? But the same goes for Google campaigns or whatever. And then, okay, what is the click-through rate? Like, what's the percentage of people clicking through and then coming on our website? And then, okay, what is the website conversion rate from Facebook campaigns? And then at the end of the day, we saw, okay, that's how much we spend on a customer coming from Facebook on average. And then we saw, okay, is it like more than our target in terms of ROI or less? And then we just decided about the different channels, if they are bringing enough Okay, cool guys. I think we it's already 2:30. So feel free to find me here on Hopin and also on LinkedIn. I'm happy to share the slides. I'm happy to discuss about different formula and so on and so forth. Yeah, thanks for joining me, and I hope you had some learnings. I'm also very open for critics and your comments. Thank you.